The words slipped out of Sophie's mouth so
Can we talk
casually
about this?
that for a moment I thought I had imagined them. She was sitting on the edge of the couch, scrolling on her phone like it was just another ordinary evening. When she muttered, "I'm already sick of marriage," I froze. At first, I laughed nervously, thinking it was some kind of joke. We had been married for just over 2 years. Sure, we argued sometimes about bills, about chores, about who forgot to buy groceries, but I believed those little disagreements were part of learning how to live together. I thought we were growing, building something real, but her face was serious. She didn't even look up from her phone when she said it. My stomach twisted as the words echoed in my head, sick of marriage. I swallowed hard and asked her to repeat herself, praying I had misheard. She sighed, rolled her eyes, and finally looked at me. Her expression was flat, almost annoyed, as if my confusion was the problem, not her words. "I don't know what else to tell you, Daniel," she said. "This isn't the life I pictured. Marriage feels boring. I feel trapped. That word hit harder than any argument we had ever had. She wasn't just complaining about chores or money. She was confessing something deeper, something final, like she had already let go of us. And in that moment, my entire world shifted. Looking back now, I realized Sophie's words weren't born overnight. The cracks had been forming for months, tiny fissures that I ignored because I wanted to believe we were solid. It started with the silences. At first they were harmless. A quiet dinner after a long day, both of us too tired to talk much. But slowly, silence became the default. Instead of laughter echoing through our small apartment, the only sound was the clinking of cutlery and the hum of the TV in the background. Then came the late nights. Sophie would text me that she was staying late at work or grabbing drinks with her co-workers. I told myself it was normal, that she was just busy, ambitious, social. But when I asked if I could join sometimes, she brushed me off with a cold smile and a quick excuse. Even at home, she seemed distracted. She'd curl up on the couch with her phone, laughing at messages that I wasn't part of, grinning at screens that hid conversations I'd never hear. I'd tried to start a conversation, but she'd respond with short, clipped answers. Her eyes always fixed on that glowing rectangle in her hands. The warmth that once filled our evenings had cooled into something distant, something I couldn't quite name. She stopped asking me how my day was. She stopped reaching for my hand when we walked side by side. Small gestures, the ones that glue a marriage together, disappeared one by one, and yet I clung to hope. I told myself she was just stressed, that we were still adjusting, that every couple went through phases like this. But deep down, a quiet fear was already growing inside me, because sometimes the absence of love is louder than any fight. When Sophie admitted she felt trapped, my first instinct wasn't anger, it was fear. Fear of losing her, fear of losing us. I couldn't just let our marriage collapse without trying. So I did what any desperate husband would do. I searched for solutions. One evening, I suggested we take a short trip together. Just the two of us, away from work and distractions. I pictured us walking along a quiet beach, talking like we used to, reconnecting. But she just shrugged. "Vacations don't fix what's broken, Daniel," she muttered, scrolling through her phone. I didn't stop there. I suggested counseling, even found a nearby therapist who specialized in couples. "We promised to fight for this, remember?" I pleaded. But she shook her head with that same detached calmness that chilled me more than anger ever could. "You don't get it," she said. "I don't want to fight for it. I just don't think marriage suits me." That sentence stung worse than a slap. Not our marriage, not me, just marriage itself. It was as though the vows we had exchanged, the promises we had whispered, were now meaningless to her. Still, I tried to reason. I cooked her favorite dinner, hoping food might open a door for conversation. I wrote her little notes, the way I used to when we were dating, reminding her of the small things I loved about her. Each attempt was met with indifference. A polite smile at best, or worse, a sigh of annoyance. Like my love had become an inconvenience. Night after night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, asking myself, what more can I do? But the truth was beginning to sink in. No matter how much effort I poured in, I was the only one still holding on, and nothing is lonelier than fighting for two. It's strange how betrayal doesn't always arrive with lipstick on a collar or a stranger's number in the phone. Sometimes it sneaks in quietly like a shadow, and you feel it long before you see it. With Sophie, the signs were everywhere. She started staying out later than usual. At first she said she was working late. Then it was drinks with colleagues. Then vague excuses like, "I just need some space." I wanted to believe her, but the pattern became impossible to ignore. Every night, I'd find myself sitting at the dining table alone, staring at her untouched plate, my mind running wild with questions. Even when she was home, she wasn't really there. She sat curled up on the couch, phone in hand, her face illuminated by the glow of the screen. I'd hear her laugh, soft, genuine laughter, the kind I hadn't heard from her in months. Only, it wasn't at my jokes anymore. It was at words typed by someone else, someone hidden behind that screen. Meals turned into silent rituals. I'd ask her about her day, and she'd respond with a single sentence, eyes never leaving her phone. Sometimes she didn't respond at all. It was as if I'd become background noise, just another piece of furniture in the room. I started questioning myself. Was I too boring? Too predictable? Had I stopped making her feel special? I replayed every fight, every cold moment, searching for what I had done wrong. But then the realization hit me. It wasn't about what I had done. It was about what she had already decided. Sophie had checked out. Her heart wasn't in our marriage anymore, and maybe it hadn't been for a long time. The cruelest betrayal isn't when someone cheats with another person. It's when they stop choosing you. When they slowly erase you from their heart while still sharing the same roof. And that's exactly what Sophie was doing. Every silence, every late night, every hidden smile at her phone was proof. I just didn't want to admit it. The breaking point didn't come with a fight. It came quietly, like most endings do. One morning I was getting ready for work when I noticed a small suitcase by the front door. It wasn't hidden. It wasn't even half-zipped, as though Sophie didn't care if I saw it. My chest tightened. "Going somewhere?" I asked, my voice steadier than I felt. She glanced at the bag and shrugged like it was nothing. "Maybe I'll stay at my sister's for a while. I just need some space to think." Her words were casual, but they sliced through me. Space to think? She had been taking space from me every day. Late nights, silent meals, empty conversations. Now she wanted more. I stood there, staring at that suitcase, and something inside me shifted. For months I had begged, reasoned, compromised. I had poured every ounce of love I had left into a marriage she no longer valued. But in that moment, staring at her packed bag, I realized something devastating and liberating at the same time. It didn't matter what I did. Sophie had already let go. The fight I thought we were in wasn't a fight at all, because I was the only one still swinging, and suddenly I was done. Done begging. Done trying to convince someone to stay who had already left in her heart. That morning as I left for work, I didn't see a suitcase by the door. I saw the truth, and I knew what I had to do next. That evening, while Sophie was out, I walked through our apartment and looked at everything that still carried her presence. Her shoes by the door, her perfume bottles lined on the dresser, her scarves draped carelessly across the back of a chair. For the first time, instead of feeling warmth, I felt nothing but heaviness, so I started gathering them, one by one, her clothes from the closet, her heels stacked in a neat row, the little trinkets she had collected over the years, the ones that once reminded me of happy memories. I packed them carefully, not in anger, but in finality. Each folded shirt, each sealed box was a silent goodbye. By the time Sophie returned, the hallway looked different. All her belongings were arranged neatly by the front door, waiting for her. She froze the moment she saw them. What is this supposed to mean?" Her voice was sharp, but I could see the flicker of disbelief in her eyes. I stood there calm in a way I hadn't been in months. "It means I'm done, Sophie. You said you're sick of marriage. You said you feel trapped. I won't keep you prisoner in a life you don't want. So go. You're free." Her eyes narrowed, as if she was searching for the old me, the one who would panic, beg, promise to do better. You're seriously throwing everything away over one comment?" She snapped. I shook my head. "No, Sophie. I'm ending this because of the months of indifference. The nights you chose your phone over me. The way you stopped seeing me as your partner. Marriage isn't a trial period. If you're already sick of it, then there's nothing left to save." For the first time, she had no reply. Her lips parted, but no words came out. She grabbed her suitcase, muttered something under her breath, and walked out without looking back. No tears, no apologies, no hesitation, and strangely, that silence was louder than anything she could have said. The door clicked shut behind Sophie, and just like that, the apartment felt different. For months, her presence had filled the space, not with love or warmth, but with tension. Every sigh, every cold glance, every silence had been like a storm cloud hovering above me. But that night, when she left for good, the silence that followed was unlike anything I'd ever known. It was empty, but it was also freeing. I walked back into the bedroom and noticed the half-empty closet, the missing shoes by the door, the perfume bottles gone from the dresser. The house felt lighter, though my chest was heavy. The bed was suddenly too big, one side untouched, but I lay down and realized for the first time in a long while I didn't have to wonder if she'd come home late. I didn't have to fight for her attention. The next morning, the quietness of the apartment greeted me. No sound of her phone buzzing, no muffled excuses about needing space, just stillness. And strangely, I didn't dread it. Friends told me later I had done the right thing. "Marriage should never feel like dragging someone who doesn't want to stay," they said. At first, their words felt hollow, like they were just trying to comfort me. But as days turned into weeks, I realized they were right, because love isn't supposed to feel like a cage. It's supposed to be a choice, every single day, and if someone tells you they're already sick of marriage, believe them. Letting go hurt. But holding on to someone who stopped loving me would have destroyed me, and in that truth I finally found peace. Looking back now, I understand something I couldn't see in the middle of it all. Love can't be forced. You can fight for someone, you can give them every chance, but if they've already chosen to stop loving you, then all your effort is like pouring water into a broken glass. It never holds. Sophie didn't betray me with a single action. She betrayed me slowly, with her indifference, with the way she stopped choosing me every day. And that's the kind of betrayal that cuts deepest, because it doesn't scream, it whispers. It drains you piece by piece, until there's nothing left of yourself to give. But I also learned something powerful. Letting go is not weakness. Walking away from someone who refuses to stay is not failure. It's courage. It's choosing your own dignity over someone else's indifference. Marriage, or any love, is not meant to be a prison. It's meant to be a partnership. And if one person tears up the contract in their heart, the other has no obligation to keep pretending, because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is say goodbye. If you've ever faced betrayal, indifference, or the slow death of a relationship, you know the pain I felt. But you also know the strength it takes to finally let go. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs the courage to walk away from what no longer serves them. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your own stories of love, loss, and lessons. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful tales of betrayal, healing, and finding freedom, because sometimes the right goodbye saves your life.